Hello and welcome. We are on page number 44 of chapter number 7 GST registration. In the previous class, we commenced this section 29 and we are through subsection 1 of section 29 which deals with cancellation or suspension of registration. We will move on to the subsection 2. So what does this subsection 2 provide for? The proper officer may cancel the registration of a person from such date, including any retrospective date, as he may deem fit. Where a registered person has contravened any of the provisions of the Act, some prescribed provisions of the Act, the registered person has contravened, or a person paying tax under section 10 means composition scheme. He did not furnish returns for 3 consecutive tax periods. For them it is quarterly. So for 3 quarters he did not find or furnish the return of income. Or in respect of a normal registered person for a continuous period of 6 months he did not file the return, or where a voluntary registration has been taken and has not commenced the business for 6 months from the date of registration, or a registration has been obtained by willful by means of fraud, willful misstatement, or a suppression of facts. So if any of these conditions are there, then the proper officer will cancel the registration, and it includes a retrospective date also. So this is suo motu cancellation. However, before cancelling, an opportunity of being heard should be given. Also, during the pendency of the proceedings, the proper officer may suspend the registration for such manner in the prescribed manner and for the prescribed period. Subsection 3 provides that the cancellation of registration shall not have the effect of the liability of the person to pay tax and other dues under this Act, or to discharge the obligation under this Act. Suppose during the period April to June, this fellow has supplied or made output taxable supplies. But in July, now the tax due for April to June is pending. He did not pay. In July, the registration is cancelled. It does not mean that the liability of this person for the period April to June has been extinguished. It is not like that. Though the registration has been cancelled, this fellow will be able to pay the past dues. This fellow will be able to file the past pending returns. However, from the date of cancellation, he can't file the returns. But whatever tax dues are there or whatever pending returns are there until the date of cancellation, this fellow will be able to do that and has to do also. Right? Whether or not such other dues are determined before or after the date of cancellation. So the dues might have been determined before the date of cancellation or after the date of cancellation, but still the person whose registration has been cancelled, if there are any dues, that fellow is still responsible or liable to pay. The cancellation of registration under SGST or UTGST Act will be deemed to be cancellation under the CGST Act also. Now, every registered person whose registration is cancelled shall pay an amount by way of debit in the electronic credit ledger or electronic cash ledger equivalent to the credit of input in respect of inputs held in stock, semi-finished goods or finished goods or capital goods or plant and machinery on the day immediately preceding the date of such cancellation, or the output tax payable on such goods, whichever is higher, calculated in such manner which is prescribed. For capital goods or plant and machinery, an amount equal to the input tax credit taken on such capital goods or plant and machinery reduced by such percentage points as may be prescribed or the tax on transaction value or plant and machinery under section 15, whichever is higher. So what it is saying is, on before suppose the date of cancellation is 15th of September. Now on 14th of September, what are all inputs and inputs held in work in progress, inputs held in finished goods, capital goods, on which you have taken input tax credit. Okay. Now the stock on this particular date, for this you have to calculate the input tax credit based upon the invoices. If the invoices are not there, there is another prescribed procedure how you have to reverse. Either the transaction value or input credit which has been taken, whichever is whichever is high is to be calculated, and a tax is to be paid by way of debit to the electronic credit ledger or debit to the electronic cash ledger. Also for capital goods also reversal is to be done. For it also the value minus percentage points or transaction value whichever is high is to be paid. So there is a procedure. We will examine this by way of an example in our analysis part also. Okay. So the amount which is specified in subsection 5. So this for this there is a prescribed procedure which are given in the rules. We will go to the analysis. We will understand this manner of calculating the credit which has to be reversed when we go to our analysis part. Next comes section 30, revocation of cancellation. Revocation of cancellation can be done only when there is a suo motu cancellation of the registration. So when there is a suo motu cancellation of the registration, there is a procedure for revocation also. Now what are the provisions with relate to the revocation of cancellation of registration? Subject to such conditions as may be prescribed, any person whose registration is cancelled by the proper officer on his own motion may apply to such officer for revocation of cancellation of registration in the prescribed manner within 30 days from the date of service of cancellation order. So after 30 days, so there is a time limit within which the application for revocation of cancellation is to be made, that is 30 days from the date of order of cancellation. Okay. Now the revocation of cancellation is possible only when the cancellation is done on own motion. So for suo motu cancellations only revocation is permitted. For voluntary cancellations, revocations are not permitted. Now the proper officer may in such manner and with such period as may be prescribed revoke the cancellation or reject the application. This fellow has applied for revocation. The proper officer, after making such inquiries etc., he may either revoke the cancellation or he may reject the application for revocation. Now the application for revocation of cancellation will not be rejected. Before rejecting the revocation application, an opportunity of being heard should be given to the SSC. Now it implies that a revocation of cancellation of registration under SGST or UTGST shall be deemed to be revocation of cancellation under the CGST also. Now we will go into the analysis part. So under section 29 and section 30 of the CGST Act, the provisions relating to the cancellation and the provisions relating to revocation of the cancellation have been provided, and the prescribed procedures have been provided in rule number 20, 21, 22 and 23 of the CGST rules. The registration which has been granted under GST Act or GST law can be cancelled for specified reasons. If there are specified reasons, the registration can be cancelled. The registration can be cancelled either suo motu by the department on its own or by an application made by the registered person. So There are two types of cancellation. One is the voluntary cancellation applied by the registered person. There is another cancellation, suo motu cancellation. Now, when the voluntary cancellation will be made, if the registered person no more requires the registration, then he will apply for voluntary cancellation. Now, for example, the proprietor died and his legal heirs can apply for cancellation. Now, suo motu cancellation means the proper officer considers that the registration of the person liable for cancellation in view of certain defaults. What are all the defaults that have been listed here? What are all the defaults have been listed in subsection 2? He has contravened the provisions. A composition dealer did not file the returns for 3 consecutive tax periods. A regular person dealer did not file the tax returns for a continuous period of 6 months. Voluntary registration fellow did not start the business for 6 months, or the registration has been obtained by fraud, suppression of fact, misstatement, etc. Because of these reasons, the suo motu cancellation can be done by the department. Okay. Now, section 29 subsection 1 and section 29 subsection 2 provides the reasons or circumstances when the registration will be cancelled. It can be suo motu cancel or an application made by the registered person or legal heirs. Suppose the person dies, then his legal heirs will apply for the cancellation. Now, this why the cancellation may be done. Business has been discontinued. This fellow he will apply under section 29 subsection 1, or where the business has been transferred fully because of the death of the proprietor, or there is an amalgamation or demerger or otherwise disposed of, and there is a change in constitution of the business, then the tax person who is no longer liable to be registered under section 22 or 24, this person is no longer liable for registration, he may cancel. Okay, he may apply for cancellation. What are the circumstances when the proper officer can cancel the registration? So, suo motu cancellation. Suo motu cancellation means contravene the prescribed provisions. This regular tax dealer did not file the returns for 6 months continuous period, and the uh, registration has been obtained by fraud, willful misstatement, suppression of fact, and the composition dealer did not file the returns for 3 consecutive tax periods, or a voluntary registered person did not commence the business for a period of 6 months. These are the circumstances when the registration can be cancelled. Okay. Now, rule number 21. What are the circumstances under which the suo motu cancellation can be done? Means any of the provisions have been contravened. Any of the provisions have been contravened. Contravene the prescribed provisions. This has been given in 29 subsection 2 clause 1 or clause A. Here it has been given 29 1A. The registered person contravenes such provisions of the act or rules made thereunder as may be prescribed. What are the prescribed provisions which have been contravened? Those are given in rules. What is the rule number? The rule number is 21. He does not conduct any business from the declared place of business. He has mentioned a principal place of business or a place of business. He is not doing anything from there. Now this fellow just issues invoice without supply of goods or service. Means this fellow is issuing fake invoices. Or he will violate the provisions of section 171, means anti-profiteering measures. This will be dealt at your final level. This will be the anti-profiteering measures will be dealt by at your final level. Or If this fellow happens to be a composition levy person for 3 consecutive tax periods, he did not file the return of income. Sorry, he did not file the GST return, right? Suspension of registration. Proviso to section 29 subsection 1 and second proviso to section 29 subsection 2 read with rule 21A. What will happen is a registered person has applied for cancellation, or the proper officer suo motu wants to cancel the registration of a person. In such circumstances, the proper officer can suspend the registration during the pendency of the cancellation proceedings. Now, what is the effect or the purpose for which this suspension is given? The purpose is that this fellow, the registered person, is freed from routine compliances like filing the GST returns during the pendency of the cancellation proceedings. So, where the cancellation is applied by the registered person, or where suo motu cancellation is provisions are being invoked by the proper officer, then first the registration will be kept in suspension. If the registration is kept under suspension, the effect is that you need not comply with the tax returns, or you need not comply with the filing of returns provisions during the pendency of the cancellation proceedings. Now, what is the period for which the suspension can be made? What is the procedure by which the suspension of registration can be made? Suppose a registered person applied for cancellation of registration, then the registration shall be deemed to be suspended from the date of the cancellation application, or the date from which the cancellation is sought, whichever is later, and it will continue during the pendency of the proceedings. So you have applied for cancellation. The suspension will start from which date? From the date of your application, or from the date from which you have sought for the cancellation. From that date it will start. Until what time the suspension will continue? Until the cancellation proceedings are concluded. Either your registration has been cancelled, or your registration application has been rejected. Till that time the suspension will continue. Now, if the department will initiate the cancellation on its own motion, then what will happen? Then the registration is after a reasonable opportunity, uh, the suspension will be from the date to be determined by him until until completion of the proceedings for cancellation of registration. So if a suo motu cancellation is going to be done, then the proper officer will himself decide what is the date from which the suspension of registration will be made, and it will continue until the conclusion of the proceedings. Now, if a registered person's registration has been suspended, then during the period for which the registration is suspended should not make taxable supply, and he need not furnish return of income. He should not make a taxable supply, and he need not furnish the returns under section 39. Now the suspension shall be deemed to be revoked upon the completion of the cancellation proceedings by the proper officer. Now, the revocation of the suspension will be effective from the date on which the suspension has come into effect. Okay. So the revocation of the suspension will be the effective from the date on which the suspension has come into effect. Now, what is the procedure for cancellation of registration under rule number 20 and rule number 22? So what is the provision? Section 29 deals with the cancellation. Now what are the rules? Rule number 20 and rule number 22. Now, the application for cancellation shall be filed electronically on gst.gov.in, and it should be in the prescribed form, and it should be within 30 days from the date of occurrence of the event warranting cancellation. Now, he is required to furnish in the application the details of inputs held in stock, inputs contained in semi-finished goods held in stock, and of capital goods held in stock on the date from which cancellation of registration is sought. Liability thereon, details of the payment if any made against such liability, and may furnish relevant documents thereof. So at the time of making the application itself, you have to provide all these details. What are the inputs left? What are the inputs contained in semi-finished goods? What are the inputs contained in the finished goods? What are all the capital goods on which you have taken the input tax credit? All these things you have to mention. And you also have to determine the tax payable on them. We will come to the manner of determination of tax payable at a later point of our discussion in this session. And if you have discharged that liability, the details of discharge of liability should also be given. Now, where the person has submitted the application for cancellation, the proper officer will issue order of cancellation within 30 days from the date of submission of the application for cancellation. Suo motu cancellation by the department. What is the procedure? If the proper officer want to cancel suo motu, first of all he should give a show cause notice. Okay. Now the reply to the show cause notice has to be given within 7 days of service of notice. If the reply is satisfactory, the proper officer will drop the proceedings. Where the person, instead of replying to the show cause notice for failure to furnish returns for a continuous period of 6 months, 3 months in case of composition scheme, furnishes all the pending returns, make full payment of tax dues with interest, late fees, penalties, etc., proper officer will drop the proceedings and pass an order. For some reasons, this fellow gave the show cause notice. That registered person replied within 7 days. The proper officer is satisfied, he can cancel the proceedings. The proper officer wanted to cancel the registration, gave a show cause notice on the reason that this regular taxpayer is not furnishing the return of GST for a continuous period of 6 months, or in respect of a composition fellow for a continuous period of 3 consecutive continuous tax periods. Now what this fellow has done, the reason for cancellation given in the show cause notice is non-furnishing of returns. Now this fellow alerted himself, and within 6 days what he has done is he has filed all the pending returns. He paid the tax dues along with interest, along with late fees. Now he had made good, and he became fully compliant as far as the returns are concerned. And the fact has been communicated to the proper officer. Then proper officer can drop the proceedings of cancellation. Now, if the cancel is the registration of the person is liable to be cancelled, the proper officer shall issue order of cancellation within 30 days from the date of reply to the So cause notice. So everything is a time bound under the GST law. Now what will be the effective date of cancellation? What will be the effective date of cancellation? Will be determined by the proper officer mentioned in the cancellation order. Also, he will direct the taxable person to pay any arrears of tax, interest or penalty. What is the amount payable on cancellation of registration as per section 29 subsection 5 and section 29 subsection 6? Now, the persons whose registration is cancelled has to pay the tax. How he has to pay the tax? Either debit the electronic ledger or cash ledger. How much? The ITC in respect of stock of inputs contained in semi-finished or finished goods, or capital goods or plant and machinery on the day immediately preceding the date of cancellation, or the output tax payable on such goods, which is calculated in the prescribed manner, whichever is high. Okay. But for capital goods, how much amount is to be paid? Amount equivalent to input tax credit taken, reduced by such percentage points as may be prescribed, or the transaction value, whichever is high. Now, what is the manner of determining the credit that has to be reversed? It is prescribed in rule number 44. So, you have to combinedly read 29 subsection 5 along with rule number 44. These things we have already discussed in our input tax credit chapter. Okay. So, ITC in respect of inputs calculated in accordance with rule 44. This has to be done on computed proportionately on the basis of corresponding invoices on which credit has been availed, or output tax payable on such goods, whichever is high, is to be reversed. Now these details have been discussed already in the chapter number 6, input tax credit. Sometimes it will so happen that the invoices are not available. Then they have to be done on a prevailing market price. Okay. Next, amount of credit to be reversed in respect of capital goods or plant and machinery. What is the amount of credit that has to be reversed in respect of capital goods or plant and machinery? This also has to be done in the basis of rule number 44. Now, useful life in the months of the capital goods. This we can understand by way of an example. We also learnt this example in our previous chapter also. Suppose capital good is used for 4 years 6 months, 15 days. Fraction has to be ignored. So what is the remaining life? The life is to be taken as 5 years. So what is the remaining? Ignore the fraction. 5 months is the remaining life. So if the input taken is 1 lakh, then the amount of input tax to be reversed is 5 into 5 divided by 60. This amount is to be reversed. Or the tax on the transaction value, whichever is higher, is to be reversed. Okay. Now, what are the other points which you have to, which are to be considered, or what are the other points in cancellation? A person who has applied for a unique identification number. Who will apply for unique identification numbers? Those people, these embassy people or the United Nations Special Privileges Act entities. So those people will apply for unique identification number. They can't apply for cancellation. The cancellation will not affect the liability of the registered person to pay taxes. if the registration is cancelled under SGST or UTGST, means it is also deemed to be cancelled under CGST. Now, if any registered person's registration is cancelled, the taxpayer will be intimated through SMS and email. And also, the order for cancellation will be intimated to the primary authorized signatory by email and SMS. Now, taxpayer will not be allowed to file the returns for the period after the date of cancellation mentioned in the cancellation order, but he will be able to file the returns for earlier periods. So suppose the date of cancellation is this. Now, even after cancellation has been done, for this period returns will be able to be filed and tax will also be enabled to be paid. But from this date onwards, the return filing is not allowed. Now, revocation of cancellation of registration, section 30, read with rule number 23. So the department has a suo motu cancelled the registration because of certain reasons, like certain provisions have been contravened. This fellow, regular taxpayer, did not file the tax returns for a period of 6 months. This composition fellow did not file for 3 consecutive tax periods. This voluntary fellow did not start the business for a period of 6 months. These are some of the reasons by which the voluntary registration will be cancelled. Now, if the registration has been cancelled or a show cause notice for cancellation, it has been already been cancelled. Now there is a procedure for revocation. Now, if registration is cancelled on an application made by the registered person or his legal heirs, then the revocation is not at all possible. But only when the suo motu cancellation has been done, revocation is possible. So, the registration of a person is cancelled suo motu. Who cancelled it? A proper officer. Now, this fellow may apply for revocation within 30 days from the date of service of order. Now, if the proper officer, after receiving the application, is satisfied that there are sufficient grounds for revocation of cancellation, he can revoke by passing an order within 30 days of receipt of application. Friends, under the GST law, everything is time bound. Now, moving forward, either if the proper officer opines that there are sufficient reasons for revocation within 30 days from the date of application, he can revoke. Or if the proper officer opines that there are no sufficient reasons for revocation, then he can reject the application. If he intends to reject the application, then he has to give show cause notice, and a time limit should be 7 days should be given. Now, from the date of receipt of a reply for the show cause notice, the application can be accepted or rejected within 30 days. Suppose the suo motu cancellation is done on the failure of the registered person to furnish the returns. Now, what this fellow can do is, before applying the revocation, for revocation, this fellow has to make good the defaults. Means he has to file the returns. But the registration may have been cancelled by the officer either from the date of order of the cancellation of the registration or from a retrospective date. Now, suppose the registration is cancelled from the date of order of cancellation, the common portal does not allow the returns after the effective date of cancellation. Suppose the cancellation order is passed from this date, means before this, for this period he will be able to file the returns. For this period he can't file. Okay, so before applying for a revocation, what this fellow want to do, he want to file the returns and then apply for revocation. So if the cancellation date is this, for this period he can file, for this period he can't file. So if he want to file for this period, he will apply for revocation with a promise or undertaking that he will file the return for this period, pending period, within 30 days from the date of revocation. Now, where the registration is cancelled with effect from date of order of cancellation of registration, person applying for the revocation of cancellation has to furnish all the returns till the date of cancellation before applying for the revocation. Okay, along with the interest, penalties, late fees, etc. But the portal will not allow him to file the returns after the date of cancellation. Now, in such case, what this fellow has to do is, this fellow has to file the uh, returns pertaining to the period after the date of cancellation within a period of 30 days from the date of order of revocation. Now, this has been given in a pictorial representation. Returns for this period to be filed before the revocation application is filed. So all these are pending returns. This is the effective date of cancellation. Now for this period, what he has to do? He has to file within 30 days of the order of revocation of cancellation, because the portal, once it is cancelled, the portal won't allow this period returns to be filed. So first he should file this period returns, apply for revocation. Once the revocation order is passed, within 30 days from the intimation of the revocation order, here this fellow will have to file, because this will be enabled then. Now, if the revocation has been cancelled with retrospective effect, now is it possible for that fellow to furnish the returns before filing the application of revocation? No, he can't do that. He will not do that. So application for revocation is allowed to be filed subject to the conditions that returns to the period from the effective date of cancellation of registration till the date of order of registration will be filed within a period of 30 days from the order of the revocation. So suppose on this date the registration is cancelled effective from this date. So at the time of before filing the revocation application, this fellow will not be able to file the returns of this period also. But previously what happened, for this period the portal allowed him to file because the effective date is this. But here the effective date itself is this. So and the date is this cancellation registration. So for this date also the portal won't allow him to file the return. So what you have to do is, you have to give an undertaking at the time of application for revocation that for this entire period you will file the returns along with interest and penalty and late fees applicable within 30 days. Within 30 days. Within 30 days of the date of order of revocation. Okay. Now, the unique identification number holders means these UN bodies, embassies, notified people, or GST practitioners can't apply for revocation of cancelled registration. Also, in case the registration is cancelled on an application made by the taxpayer or his legal rights, then also revocation is not possible. Okay. So the UAN holders GST can't apply for revocation of cancelled registration. Okay, somewhere we learned that this UAN holders can't apply for UIN holders can't apply for cancellation. Somewhere in one point we have learnt. Somewhere in one point we have learned. Okay. These are also motive cancellations. Right. Next. No. Once the revocation of cancellation under SGST Act or UTGST Act is made, it will be deemed that revocation of cancellation of registration under CGST Act is also made. Okay, these are the additional points which you have to keep in mind. Right. Now, after this, we have this. Let us recapitulate. Now, you can go through the let us recapitulate. It is a sort of revision. Already, we have done it 2 times. One through provision, another through analysis. Again, this is the third time. You can very well go through yourself. This will be helpful at the time of last minute preparation before your examination. Next, test your knowledge. We will be solving in a separate class. And after that, we have this amendments made in the Finance Act, which we have already dealt with in the first session of this chapter itself. This 6A 20 to 25 subsection proviso to 25 proviso and explanation to section 22 subsection 1. Thereafter we have this 6A to 6D of section 25. Okay. So friends, with this we have come to a conclusion of this chapter, and I will see you in our next session.